chew the fat and give our gut reactions on all things pop culture, film, TV and theatre. We talk to legends in the creative industry and those on the rise. We game old school. We support independent creatives. Got a project? Tell us about it. Get in touch. We do all of this, and a whole lot more. Like, subscribe, get involved. Join Lancey, Anthony Nielsen, and the Outcasts Creative.
Hello. Welcome to the Outcast Creative Late Night with Lancey. These are kind of random streams I do occasionally when I just want to jump on and talk about something. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you very much. If you haven't, do me a favor, hit the like button or the subscribe button. Mainly the content of the channel is interviews with people in the industry, people that work in film, theatre and television, board games designers, people that work in the music industry, and I have done 141 of those to date. And you know, they range right across the board, from people at the top of the game to people just starting out and everything in between. And I've got my wish list of people that I personally would love to interview. You know, if I could, I have a wish list. And number one on that list, I will tell you now, is actor Kevin Bacon. He's also the number one actor that I would like to work with or direct in a film or whatever, on stage, whatever it might be, if I could. Good to see you, Darth. Good to see you, Snorterpoopus. But up on that list, near the top, certainly near the top of the ladies, I would have loved to have worked with Catherine O'Hara. And I can't believe that I'm saying the late Catherine O'Hara. Oh, Sandy, so good to see you. Listen, if you want to come on, let me know. I'll drop you the link and you can pop on with me. And I've had a bit of a shit week because my Facebook got... someone tried to change the date on my birthday on my main professional Facebook account, so which I can only assume was a hack. And I went to change it back. I had to do a whole Facebook ID thing, and now I'm locked out of my professional Facebook account. So I've had a bit of a week. It's been a bit, you know, up and down. Tomorrow I plan on going out and chilling and all the rest of those kind of things we do at the weekend. And then I saw Catherine O'Hara was trending, and I was thinking, oh, has she got a new film out? I must have a look. I was thinking it was going to be for like a trailer, or maybe she'd been nominated for an award or something like that. Because if anyone ever should have won an Oscar, it certainly is her. And yeah, I mean, first of all, I didn't realize she was 71. You know, 71. I didn't realize. I didn't realize that she, you know, that she was that age. I don't know why. I just thought she was a little bit younger than that. I thought maybe 60s, you know, 63 or something like that. I don't follow people's ages, so I don't keep up with this kind of stuff. Now, this is an open forum tonight, so if anyone would like to come on the channel and talk about their favourite Catherine O'Hara performance, let me know. Gary from the Outcast Australia has just woken up, so I'm going to drop in the link and see if we can encourage him to come on. Let's see if we can get him on. I've sent in the link, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, so Catherine O'Hara has been a bit of a fixture on my radar as a director, as someone I would just like to work with. You know, from a long time ago. I mean, I have followed her career. You know, you follow actors that you think are good. As directors, you kind of have your wish list, you know. And I've got my sort of top 10 female actresses that I'd like to work with, and I've got my top 10 male actors that I'd like to work with, and some of the male actors on that list I have worked with them. So obviously I feel quite grateful that I've managed to work with at least 2 of my top 10 male actors. And then you've got your top 10 female actresses that you'd like to work with. And I've I've developed a project with one of them, but I've not directed any of them on stage or on screen, except for one, actually, sorry, which was Lindsay Colson, who was on my list to work with for a long time. And her and I worked together on the journey. So the last thing I saw Catherine O'Hara in was The Studio, the television series called Studio, where she played the role of Patty Lee. And she always played, as you know, she played a lot of kooky and over the top characters. Then, you know, you see her play like the mum in Home Alone, which is still a hyper performance of a person, but I'm just sort of looking at her career to see the first thing that I saw her in. And I don't think it was Home Alone. I feel like I saw her in something before that. So let me just have a look at her career. Yeah, now I remember. First thing I saw her in was actually directed by Martin Scorsese. And it's not a very well-known film. Quite a lot of people have not seen this movie. I went to see this at the cinema with my first girlfriend, and it's called After Hours. And it tells the story of this character played by Griffin Duane, who he goes on he meets a girl and he goes to meet her on a date, and he's only got $20 cash on him, and he goes to pay the taxi driver that money, and the taxi driver's driving so fast that money flies out the window. And then it's kind of it's sort of a road movie late at night, transversing the weird and quirky characters that occupy the landscape of Manhattan after hours, hence the title. And there's a lot of really talented young actors in it, like Will Patton is in it, who plays this guy called Horst, who runs a gay bar. And Catherine O'Hara is one of the quirky characters that he meets during the sort of course of his travels around Manhattan. Linda Florentino's in it. Terry Garr, of course, who we sadly also lost, I think, a couple of years ago now. You've got John Hurd, who, of course, was also in Home Alone. Sadly, also no longer with us. Rosanna Arquette, of course, is still with us. There's Scorsese. It's amazing how many people have not seen this film, you know. And I saw this, I went with my first girlfriend to see it. We went up to the West End to see it. And, you know, it is just a really quirky, weird movie, but it's really good. And then, yeah, Duane kind of gets mistaken for this guy who's a burglar. There you go. There's Catherine O'Hara, who ends up sort of hanging out with him for part of the journey. I think she I don't know if it's her or Terry Garr that owns an ice cream van. And I remember when we came out of the movie, it was such a weird film. I remember turning to my then partner and saying, that should have been called Attack of the Killer Ice Cream Trucks. It was kind of crazy, batshit crazy. But yeah, it was good. It's a good film, and it was a great feather in Catherine O'Hara's cap. Even then, I remember, like, this actress is good, because I saw this movie when I was 16, something like that. And even then, I knew I wanted to be a director. So as early as kind of like seeing things like Footloose, which was a few years before this, I was like marking actors that I wanted to work with. So as soon as I saw Bacon in Footloose, that was it. It was like, I've got to work with this guy. And O'Hara was another one of those. Yeah, Paul, really sad. Yep, another one of the Saturday Night Live veterans. That's right. Of course, she was in Waiting for Guffman, which actually I just watched recently. Mighty Wind. I've seen all of the Christopher Guest movies. I've got them all on hard copy. I've got them either on DVD or Blu-ray. I love them. I think they're fantastic films. And, you know, Catherine O'Hara was part of his troupe. I mean, so he must be... Listen, I've interviewed Jim Piddock, who was part of the Christopher Guest acting troupe. That interview is on the Outcast Creative channel. I don't know if one of my moderators, we've got 2 or 3 of my moderators in the chat. If you could find that for me and post the link to the Jim Piddock industry interview. I believe we do talk about Catherine O'Hara on there because, of course, he's worked with her. And I did send him an email earlier, and I said, you know, I just wanted to send my genuine condolences. Yeah, it sucks. But anyway, we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna celebrate what a wonderful actress she was, and we're gonna talk about some of her. We're not going to dwell on the fact that she's gone, even though that is really tough. But what I want to do with this stream is I want to talk about the times that she made me laugh. I want to talk about the memories I have of this wonderful woman and what made me want to work with her. A lot of people will remember her from Beetlejuice. I think that might be the first time that she sort of registered with the public on it in more of a conscious level. You know, that was one of those films where she kind of started to make her marks, that, you know, people would sort of know who she was. I mean, there's effectively a showreel of hers. You know what? Let's show this while we're talking about her, because I think we should. And I think if YouTube copyright flagged this, that would be a bit of a shame. But because, you know, I'm honouring the woman's memory here. Let's get audio on.
Won't you join me for a little stroll through the slice of paradise I like to call the town where I currently am?
Are you too beautiful? Do you find that men refuse to take you seriously? Are a pretty face and a swell body keeping you from the meaningful relationship you've been looking for?
You know, I want to try that less is more kind of acting, where you just, when you're talking to someone, you close your eyes and look back at the person, but you never open your eyes when you're talking to them. Thought I could look a little younger, couldn't I? But it's okay. Never mind.
You are playing an older woman.
I will say, though, that I've always believed that no matter my age, I'm young enough and old enough to do anything.
We were celebrities.
It does not seem like just yesterday that Mitch and I met and started making music together.
John, go find a towel now, please, or I will strip out of this robe and I will air dry in the street.
I just stopped by to see if everything was running smoothly, and I'm glad I did, because it wasn't.
Verona, are you on schedule?
Oh, Jerry, you don't ask her that. But I'll tell you what scares me. It's that tilted uterus of yours.
What?
I don't think I've
being
seen
her
that
mother. That's what mothers do with daughters. They talk about how to look prettier. They can't. You know, I love them. What kind of mother am I?
Oh man, you know what? That just goes to show the range and diversity of her work on that IMDb reel there. You know, and also the huge number of people that she worked with in her career. The prestige. Schitt's Creek was I think it was a show, if I remember rightly, that me and my ex-partner discovered either just before lockdown or around that time, sort of around the 2019 time, because I remember that I think the whole thing was online. I think you know, there were like 5 or 6 seasons for us to watch, and we started watching it. And I'm a massive fan of Eugene Levy as well. Big fan of Eugene Levy. And he's another actor I'd love to work with. You know, he's another actor I would love to interview. I mean, I'm a small YouTube channel. I work in the industry, and occasionally, because of that, I get some great guests. But you know, some of these Hollywood icons seem out of reach. But listen, man, I'd love to interview him. I think all of the cast, including Eugene Levy's son, Dan Levy, it's Levy, isn't it? Sorry, Eugene Levy, are exceptionally talented people. Annie Murphy, who plays the daughter, exceptionally talented. But Catherine O'Hara completely stole this show. She completely stole this show with her absolutely outrageous, ridiculous outfits, this strange kind of semi-pseudo British accent that she was constantly putting on to kind of like sort of impress the townspeople. For anyone who doesn't know what the show's about, it's basically about the self-entitled family of a mafia accountant, and they have to go into hiding because everybody kind of gets arrested and prosecuted, and I can't remember if this is witness protection that they go into or whether they just go into hiding of their own volition. I think it's kind of a bit of both. And they end up going to this kind of shit stain of a town which has got one restaurant, it's got one motel, which they end up buying, and that they're basically living in the motel, the Rosebud Motel in Schitt's Creek. So yeah, and it's a really fun, charming show, and Catherine O'Hara is just brilliant in it. And I think me and my ex-partner were, we were going through some very hard times when we were watching the show. But I do remember that we would put the show on and it would make us laugh, and we'd sort of like cuddle up together and watch it, and it would make us laugh, and we laughed about it. We loved it. And I would get upset with her, or she would get upset with me if one of us had watched episodes without the other. You know what I mean? Oh, thank you, Sandy. This is the interview with Jim Piddock, which is on my channel. He is one of Christopher Guest's regular cast members. You will recognize him. He was one of the dog judges in Best in Show. He's written a biography, which is extremely funny. I think Catherine O'Hara gave him an endorsement. It's a brilliant book. So I mean, just like, I was so used to sort of seeing a great thing from Catherine O'Hara every year, like I quite enjoyed The Studio. I haven't seen all of the episodes, but I've seen about half of them. And when she was in it, I was like, oh, great, Catherine O'Hara, great. I'm watching it. Regardless of how good this show is, Catherine O'Hara's in it, I'm going to watch it. And I mean, she was great in anything she was in. I just love these menus in this cafe. It's like these huge menus in the only restaurant in town, and it seems to serve a bit of absolutely everything, which is quite funny. Not sure what the food's supposed to be like, but Schitt's Creek is a really good show. If you haven't seen it, you should. It's a good it's one of those shows you can put on, when you're looking for something to watch before bed. You can stick on this, and when you start falling asleep, turn it off, But it will make you laugh. It's good fun. Only the most cynical of people wouldn't get a laugh out of Schitt's Creek, I'll tell you now. But yeah, she was in a lot of stuff, man. She was in a lot of stuff. Let me see if Gary Bolter's made it. No, not yet, but he might be watching. Gary, if you are watching, come on the channel. Be good to. I know you're an actor, and I know you'd be a fan of Catherine O'Hara. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Maybe your favourite performance. I'm trying to think of what my favourite character is that O'Hara's ever played, and I probably have to do more of a cursory look down her CV to decide. Thanks, Janet. Sentiments well expressed. To decide which is her. Is it her best performance? Do you go for the one that makes you laugh the most? How do you choose? I mean, best series that she's ever done is definitely Schitt's Creek, because it's so much fun. You can't go wrong, with Schitt's Creek. But best performance in a movie, I think I'm tempted to go with best in show, but where she plays the dog handler, but or one half of the couple, and she's with Eugene Levy in that. But there's another movie that she did with those guys, with Christopher Guest's acting troupe, if you like, which I watched just again the other day. Not Waiting for Guffman. It's about a load of actors doing an independent film that's supposed to be called Home for Purim. It's supposed to be like a Jewish Christmas comedy movie. And the movie, I can remember it's funny, I can remember the name of the movie within the movie. I'm struggling to remember the name. It's called For Your Consideration. Oh, thank you, Sandy. Yeah, we both said it at the same time. For Your Consideration. Now, she plays a sort of B-movie actress who's doing this independent film that she feels is beneath her. And then I'm trying to think when this one came out. It's around the 90s sometime. And she was great in Betsy's Wedding as well. That's another film I've got of hers. That's a great movie, by the way. It's a very underrated film. I forgot that she did the voice of Sally in Nightmare Before Christmas. You know what? I completely forgot that. So, yeah, she plays this kind of self-entitled actress. Did this come out after Mighty Wind? I'm trying to think what year this was. Home for Purim, yeah. And here we go. And she's, Marilyn Hack. She plays this actress called Marilyn Hack. Christopher Guest is already having a bit of fun there. And I'd love to show a clip of this, but we'll get a copyright thing for sure. But suddenly there's a bit of buzz around the movie. You know how it is. Independent films sometimes can break out, and there's a bit of buzz around this movie, which ends up being called Home for Christmas. And there's a rumor that one of the actors is up for an Oscar nomination, right? And then this is one of the things that can happen in Hollywood is like suddenly these rumors can kind of catch fire, and suddenly everybody thinks they're up in that picture, they might have a chance of getting an Oscar. And Michael McKean, of course, is in this. Ricky Gervais, this was the first time he popped up because he was a big fan of Christopher Guest from Spinal Tap and so on. Jennifer Coolidge as well is in this. And it's a great film. It's got the late Fred Willard, of course, who's just a wonderful, wonderful comedy actor. So they're all in there. All the gang are in this one. All of his regulars are in this one. Eugene Levy and so on. This is a great photo of the whole cast. Oh, it's tiny though. That's annoying. I thought that was going to be bigger. Catherine O'Hara would definitely have laughed at that. Anyway, if you haven't seen For Your Consideration, you should. It's pretty funny. And the director at one point says to the cast, I need you to be, less Jewish, just tone down the Jewishness if you can. And it's all about the idiotness of making a film in Hollywood and what people think might be trendy and how stuff gets changed and all this kind of thing. It's all about that kind of stuff. So, yeah, David Macy, it's good to see you back after such a long hiatus. Appreciate you being here. So I think For Your Consideration is definitely up there. That's definitely one of my favorite Catherine O'Hara performances. This is a film I used to sort of say to my actor friends, so if you watch this, because this is about you guys. And, I'd say, you're one of the actors in this piece. Can you guess which one you are? And they would go and watch it and they would come back to me and go, Lance, which one am I? And I said, well, if you don't know the answer to that, you're not a very good actor. Yeah, she was good. And, one of the things I really liked about her, and I think this is really important, is she was always prepared to laugh at herself and maybe not take it too seriously. Don't get me wrong, I don't think she was very serious about the work, but she she was happy to sort of poke fun at herself a little bit. But yeah, I mean, looking at her CV, it's hard to argue otherwise that her best work was in the Christopher Guest films. I think because he kind of let her off her leash, you know. Now she could do straight stuff if you want to see her do the straight serious stuff. There are plenty of those on her list of credits. The Kevin Costner White Earp film, which of course was a massive bomb, and Tombstone did significantly better, but it's still a film worth seeing. It's still a film that's got some merit, and she's good in it. I really loved her in Best in Show. I really loved her in The Mighty Wind. And again, these are all Christopher Guest collaborations. Now, here's the thing. I only saw this once and I fell asleep. It was after a very long, I think I'd got in from a shoot or stuck it on late at night. It was one of those things I kind of saw it halfway through, and then I conked out and I just never got around to watching it again. It was like, oh, I need to watch that properly. It got put on the I need to watch that properly list. So Catherine was Canadian. I did know that, but thank you for reminding me, IMDb. Macaulay Culkin will be pretty cut up today. Yeah, she was quite short at 5'4". So it just says that she had a brief illness. I don't think it doesn't matter, does it? Could have been, maybe it was cancer. That seems to be taking a lot of people these days, sadly. Mother of 2 kids. I'm sure she was a great mum. I mean, just, best guess. I think she would have been a good mum. Macaulay Culkin still calls her mum, he still calls her mum. Mind you, after the parents he had, and considering he had to take them to school, that's not really surprising, is it? Yeah, but if you have a favourite Catherine O'Hara moment or movie, if you want to share it with me in the chat, please do. If you want to come on, you don't have to put your camera on. If you want to come on, the channel for a couple of minutes, 10 minutes, and talk with me about your favourite Catherine O'Hara moment, please do. Shout out in the chat that you'd like to come on. I'll find a way to get you the link. I'm only going to be here for, it's already 5 to 11 in the UK, so I'm only going to be here for maybe an hour. I don't know, we'll see. Hour, slightly less maybe. Yeah, but it's, this one, I mean, we've all got to go, haven't we? We've all got to go sometime. I think the ones like, the people that make me want to, I need to get online, I need to talk about this. They're always the people I want to work with. They're always the people whose careers I've followed. They're always the people that I've got an emotional attachment to their work somehow. Now, I can't remember which Christopher Guest film I mentioned in Silver Screen Journeys, but there must be one. But I can't remember which one I might have mentioned in there. It wouldn't have been Waiting for Guffman because I didn't see that at the cinema. It might have been, I think, Best in Show. I think Best in Show gets mentioned in my book. Yeah, I really like the scenes with her and John Candy. They shot all of those in a day, with her in Home Alone. Actually, I'm going to see if I can get some stills up of those. And I watched Home Alone at Christmas this year, and I was home alone. I mean, I had a friend with me for Christmas dinner for about 3 hours, but basically all of Christmas Eve, all of Boxing Day, and most of Christmas Day, I was home alone. And one of the ways I combated that was, I think I did a live stream at one point, but I decided to watch a whole load of Christmas movies. And I thought, well, I'm going to watch the Christmas movies. It's hard to watch a Christmas movie that you haven't seen at Christmas, of course. Anna, let me know if you want to come on. I'll send you the link. Yeah, it's hard to watch Christmas movies that you haven't seen at Christmas, But the way I sort of got through being on my own at Christmas was movies again, which were the things that always got me through a lot of stuff. And I decided to watch Home Alone. I watched Home Alone, I think it was on Christmas Eve. And I was, you know, kind of feeling it a bit, because it's Christmas is a weird time to spend on your own. It's not a great time to spend on your own. And yeah, no worries. So you have to find comfort in something, because if you don't, you'll go bonkers. You know, you'll. I mean, I watched the movie, and it's a film I've gone to see with my dad. So I saw it at the cinema, and I took my dad to see it. I think me and another friend went first, and I've got this recollection of going to see it again with my dad. And I loved seeing films with my dad, because my dad was a big cinema guy. And sometimes, you know, he felt guilty for going out without mum, and sometimes I'd have to kind of push him a bit, come out without mum, because mum didn't always want to go, because she had the weird vertical thing with big cinema screens. Didn't agree with her. And it was really these scenes, because I think around Christmas time, I think the John Candy documentary came out as well. You know, I think the John Candy documentary. Everybody's calling me now. I think the John Candy documentary came out. I'm going to put my phone on silent here. Jesus, what's going on? Like, honestly, I can be online. I can be around all day, right? And no one calls me. No one texts me. I get no comms. I'll go online, or I'll make a phone call, and I just get, suddenly everyone calls me, or everyone's bombarding me, or whatever, and so on and so on and so on. And someone's messaging me now, my Facebook thing. Obviously, they're trying to help me. I'm just now telling them I'm live on YouTube. Right, there we go. So yeah, so I found these scenes really poignant, because, of course, you know, we had the John Candy documentary, and I know he passed away a long time ago, but I grew up on John Candy. I was at the cinema when I saw Uncle Buck at the cinema. I saw Volunteers at the cinema on the big screen in the centre of town. That's a film that not a lot of people have seen, that he did with Tom Hanks. It's actually a really fun comedy. And many others of his. Summer Holiday was another one. So yeah, you know, when that documentary was very, very evocative. It was very emotional. Really made you realise not only how lucky we were to have John Candy, but also how deeply missed he was from our screens. How many other projects of his that we got robbed from. One of the roles I really liked that he did, I'm sure Catherine O'Hara will forgive me for going down a Candy rabbit hole here, is his performance in JFK, where he played a, you know, sort of sleazy lawyer in New Orleans in a scene with Kevin Costner. And you never would have cast him in that role. And I'm so glad that Oliver Stone gave him that opportunity, because he was so good. So it just goes to show, you know. So Catherine O'Hara's in those scenes with him, and of course she's playing a kind of a straight character as well. This is not, Home Alone's not a comedy for her. She's the emotional buffer in Home Alone. She tugs on the heartstrings of parents who've lost their kids, whether permanently or for a moment in a department store or whatever. You know, you've got to believe that this relationship between Kevin and his mum, you've got to believe that it's real, because if you don't believe it's real, the emotional heart of Home Alone doesn't really work. You know, it doesn't really work. So that's not the picture I wanted to bring up. I've got another one here. Hold on. Here we go. Yeah. So yeah, and Catherine O'Hara really sells that. Like, you really believe that Kevin is her kid. Yeah, she had legendary shoulder pads. I mean, God, her shoulder pads in Schitt's Creek should be in some sort of historical museum. They were amazing. But so Home Alone only works because of the stakes, the emotional stakes, and you need to believe that Catherine O'Hara's character, as soon as she realizes she has left her son behind, all she's going to do is she's got to go back to him. She feels so bad. And you have to believe that. And she totally sells that. She totally sells that. And I think even up to this point, she had mainly done, I don't know, I think Beetlejuice was after this, wasn't it? Beetlejuice was after this. So she wasn't yet typecast in all things comedy, but I think she had done Saturday Night Live. So she would have known John Candy through that route. But yeah, watching Home Alone this past Christmas when I was home alone, wow, that movie had a whole extra resonance for me due to my personal circumstances, the John Candy documentary. And now when I stick it on next Christmas, because I always watch all these films at Christmas, fuck, it's going to be like Catherine O'Hara's gone. And I tried to, here you go, I tried to get her on for an interview. So I guess I can tell you guys this now. I tried to get her on for an interview. I went through, she had an official Instagram page at one stage, I believe. Now, it may have been fake, I don't know. But it looked real. And I went through that and reached out to her. Big, long message about how much I admired her as an actress, love to get her on, and so on. And I don't think I ever got a reply. So, everybody's doing podcasts now. This was about, I probably reached out to her, probably around 2021. It was pretty early on. It was because I started doing these interviews in 2020, end of 2020. So yeah, it's probably 2021, I think. 2021, yeah. So oh man, what a loss. What a loss. Just gutting, absolutely gutting. Think one of the things though from watching that show reel of hers made me realize that there's a couple of things of hers that I've not seen yet. Now, to be fair, I've not seen all of the studio. Oh, no. I have seen. It's 10 episodes, isn't it? No, I have seen all of them. I've seen all 10. I've seen her turn in The Last of Us. I've seen The Wild Robot. I've seen Beetlejuice. I haven't seen Argyle. I haven't seen Anne of Green Gables, which is listed as a podcast series, so I haven't seen that. I have seen Pain Hustlers. I saw her in that. She was good in that, but then she's good in everything that she's in. There's a few kind of children's and TV things here that I'm probably not going to chase up just because, if she did a voice in an animated thing that's for 10-year-olds, I'm probably not going to track that down. I do remember her in Modern Family because I saw all of that. What Lives Inside? Now that doesn't sound familiar. Have I seen that? What's this about? Colin Hanks, J.K. Simmons. A new social film from the director of Maleficent. Okay. 7 out of 10. That's a respectable rating. While mourning the loss of this world-famous puppeteer father, Taylor finds himself mysteriously transported to the magical world of his father's show. I like the sound of that. That sounds interesting. Has anybody in the chat seen this? There's 5 user reviews on here. Hang on a minute. What's the running time on that? Let me go back. It's only 13 minutes. Oh, is that per episode? Okay. And there's how many episodes? 4, so it's basically like 40 minutes. So it's a 40-minute animated short, I guess. Okay. I mean, I could watch that. That's a good cast. It's got Keith David. I like Colin Hanks. He's a good actor. And I do like these kind of Phantom Tollbooth, let's mix live animation with, you know, let's mix that animation with live action. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, the studio's good. The studio is good. I haven't seen Argyle, but you're saying, unfortunately, are you telling us that that's not so great? Is that right? Let me. Sorry, I just took my camera off for a moment. You don't need to see how gorgeous I look, do you? You already know. So let's go back. I'm interested in anyone in chat watching. If you're a fan of Catherine O'Hara, first of all, if you want to come on the channel, let me know. You can come on. If you just want to type in the chat, if you have a favorite role of hers, I'd love to know what it was. Do you think she should have done the Beetlejuice sequel after all this time? I thought that sequel was okay, but it was just very okay. It was just not great. It was all right. It wasn't terrible. It was okay, but it wasn't. Now Argyle, did I see this? The greater the spy, the bigger the lie. I feel like I is this like somebody's typing and it becomes reality? Is that this one? Am I getting that right? Bryan Cranston, did I see this? I mean, if it's this forgettable, that's not a good sign, but I feel like I might have seen this. Yeah, that's right. She's typing stuff, and then there's a duality to it, like we see the reality of the stuff she's typing. Is that in London? Is that the memorial in Hyde Park in London, or is that somewhere else? That's got to be in Greece because of the blue chairs. John Cena. Yeah, I feel like I did see this. Directed by Matthew Vaughn. Okay. I feel like I did see this, and I just feel like it was, sadly, it was a bit forgettable. Had a great cast though, didn't it? What a cast. Yeah, Catherine O'Hara. Yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, if I can't remember it and it didn't land, but I do remember the premise, and I do remember some scenes. I'm sure she was very good. But look, if you're not familiar with her work outside of, let's say, Schitt's Creek, then the shows that you want to be watching are the ones directed by Christopher Guest. You want to be looking at her work by Christopher Guest. I mean, all of her stuff that she did with Chris Guest is top quality comedy, improvisation, feature films. Let's go and check out. I don't know if what sort of level of stills they're going to have on here, but Frankenweenie. Okay, she did a couple of voices in that. That was fun. That was kind of a fun film. Where the Wild Things Are. I remember her in Curb Your Enthusiasm as Bam Bam. I do remember that. Yes, that's For Your Consideration, which we talked about already. So if you haven't seen For Your Consideration, you absolutely should. She's amazing in it. I've never watched 6 Feet Under, so I haven't seen her in that. I feel like that's a show that I probably should see. So Mighty Wind is another Christopher Guest film about bringing back all of these what's the genre of music called? It's like folk music singers, and for like a reunion concert, and they're basically bringing back 3 different bands for this concert, and this is the actual concert. So Mitch and Mickey, the new Main Street Singers. Originally they were called the Main Street Singers, and then is it the Folksmen? I think it's the Folksmen, right? They're called. Yeah, Schitt's Creek. Well, you know what? Maybe you need to watch a few more, but I thought it was great. It is what it is. It's a half-hour fun show to watch before bedtime. So again, this is a pseudo documentary, exactly in the same tone as Spinal Tap, except it's about 4 different folk bands. And yeah, John Michael Higgins he's an underrated actor, man. He's an underrated actor. Jane Lynch, of course, a lot of you will know him. But yeah, it's of course they do all the music themselves, they do all the singing themselves. Yeah, you've got Fred Willard in there as well, doing a great cameo with Jennifer Coolidge. It's a good film. It's a good film. This is another one I saw at the cinema. And O'Hara's playing one half of a duo. It's kind of like a Sonny and Cher thing, and they're reunited for this concert. It's going to be the first time they've sung together in a long time. So it's fun. Lives Inside is on YouTube. All right, thanks for that. Appreciate you letting me know. Let's put the camera back on so you guys can see my gorgeous haircut. By the way, I'm losing my hair. It's all starting to got a big bald patch here that's like expanding. And you know, I am in my 50s now, so I don't know how much longer my hair is going to hang on. But yeah, this is Jim Piddock. So Jim Piddock on the right here, appearing in Mighty Wind. He did this one, and he did Best in Show. Great character actor, just a fantastic man as well. And I wrote to him and I asked him if he would come on to give me an interview, and he had a book out. He had a new book out, and big fan of Jim. He always plays the straight man, but what a fantastic actor. He's been in films like Independence Day, and he's had really quite a fortunate career. So Anna, you can't have silver hairs. You're so young. It's too early for you to turn into female Gandalf. So yeah, all good stuff. You know, the gang's all here. Yeah, Larry Miller's another one of the regulars of Christopher Guest's company. So you'll see him pop up in stuff, and he's got scenes with Catherine O'Hara in Best in Show. So, oh man, what can we say? You know, what a loss. What a loss. This is an actress I am definitely going to miss seeing on our screens. Definitely going to miss. I mean, but I suppose you have to sort of, the only thing you can do is, like with anyone, that we've lost so many greats in the last couple of years. A couple which really got me in the feels. You know, there was some big actors that I followed all my life, like Gene Hackman. I mean, yeah, he had a very good innings. He lived into his 90s, but God, what an awful way for him to go at the start of last year. And he was the one actor that got me into wanting to be a director more than any other. He was at the top of that Lance list for a really long time until he was superseded only in when he retired by our Lord Kevin Bacon. So yeah, but oh man, it's a frustrating life we live as creatives, because if you're a director and you write stories, you've often pictured actors you'd like to work with playing certain roles, you know. And as you get older and maybe your career isn't quite where you want it to be, you're at a certain level where some people will maybe work with you and Some people like to do independent projects and stuff like that. But it's not like I can pick up the phone and get DiCaprio on the other end of the line and get him to come over and read my latest script like he can do with Quentin Tarantino, you know, vice versa. So it's not like I can get on the phone and give Kevin Bacon a call, although he does know about me. He is aware of me, which is nice. And he's tweeted about me a couple of times, which is very sweet. But you know, we're both getting on a bit, and yeah, I don't think he can go before me. I'd be too upset. But Catherine O'Hara was up there. She was really up there with people I wanted to work with. She's been around for most of my life, and you know, in and out of my film encyclopedia with various performances. And Christopher Guest's stuff is just the best. Fred Willard, of course, we lost him. Oh, I think about 2 years ago. So was it longer? It feels like 2 years. Maybe it was longer. He was another one, you know. I mean, he was the funniest of that troupe. He was so naturally gifted, and of course, Jim Piddock, you know, very generously in my interview with him. We spent an appropriate amount of time talking about Fred Willard, but it's very interesting that it's right to say that Fred Willard's scenes in Best in Show would not be as funny without the straight man of Jim Piddock being buffered against him. And I think Catherine O'Hara, you know, a lot of her stuff was really funny because she got put opposite Jean Levy. I mean, they just worked together brilliantly. I mean, if we talk about other people that must be devastated by her passing, and there you go, 3 great recommendations right there, all with Catherine O'Hara in. Eugene Levy must be devastated today. He must be devastated today. Yeah, there he is. Because they must be lifelong friends, you know. It must be, yeah, I mean, I've got collaborators that I've worked with most of my life. Creators, Jason Fleming being one of them. And I often have a joke with Jason, and I say, you're not allowed to go before me. You know, you're going to do a speech at my, I mean, it's morbid to say it, I know, but we have had this conversation many times. And I've said, you're going to do a speech at my funeral. I'm not doing a speech at yours. Obviously, I would have to do a speech at his, but I don't, you know, he's got to do a speech at mine. He's going to do a better job anyway. So he's the actor, you know. So I've got to go before him. So it's weird. It's weird when you hit your 50s because you're in that. You've just seen your 40s go by in like a flash, right? Like I was in my 30s when I met my ex-partner, and I was fortunate enough to be with her for around about 10 years, 5 of which were amazing, you know. And when I look back at that time now, it feels so long ago. It wasn't that long ago. It was 2011 to 2021. And, you know, you really sort of in your 50s, you become very aware of your own mortality. That's where I was going with this. You do become very aware of your own mortality because friends around you start passing away. I even though I've just lost my Facebook, I joked that one of the I sort of dark humor here, but I joked that like, oh well, at least I don't have to be reminded of the 100 plus deceased people that I had on my friends list on Facebook. It was over 100 people now that had gone. There's been about 10 in the last 2 years alone. And, you know, some of them are people I knew well, and some of them are just people I met at networking events in the film industry. So we were connected. We were friends on social media. Some of them were, you know, as a guy you went to see his film once 7 years ago, or whatever. You stay in touch as filmmakers, you know. Next thing you know, he's got cancer, he's gone, you know. There's been a few of those. And so you really become aware of time and mortality and what you should be spending each moment of your day doing, you know, it's the biggest sin I think any of us can commit is, and it's difficult because we mental health is a big thing and I've had my struggles, but the biggest sin that you can commit is getting up in the morning, being alive, having a day in front of you that's devoid of commitment. So let's say you've got a free day, whatever it is, whether it's your day off or you know, whether you're not working, maybe you're going through a lull, whatever you want to call it. And the biggest sin that you can commit is doing nothing with that day, is doing nothing with that time, right? You know, if the passing of people has taught us anything, it's that life is very short. And the one lesson that we can probably all agree on is that we should try and make the most of the time that we have. So I try and do one thing every day that makes me happy, even if I'm going through a tough time, even if times are difficult. This last week with losing my Facebook and everything has been really difficult. I try and do something positive each day. Now, some days that can be quite hard because you don't feel motivated, you feel demotivated. And if you're a freelance struggling creative, let's say that you're an actor and you've been going up for audition after audition after audition, but you're not getting those parts and you're doing a part-time job that you hate in order to, you know, give you the money to keep going to those auditions and attending acting classes and working that acting muscle, because it's like a muscle, so you've got to go to the gym. You know, it can be very downheartening. You'll go through times when you don't want to keep going, you know. But if you love it, if you're as passionate about it as someone like Catherine O'Hara was, you've got to keep going. So you've got to find a way to do something every day that makes you happy, because you never know what's around the corner. You don't know how much time you have left. There's been a number of times in my life, two in particular, where I nearly bought the farm. One was, I've never really talked about this online now, but fuck it, you know what, I'm going to talk about it. One was nearly by my own hand, which was, when was that? February 2021, I think. And it was either, yeah, I think it was February 21 or February 2019, I forget. And there was a collision of events on that occasion, and I got in a very bad place mentally. There was a collision of about 3 events, got in a very bad place mentally, didn't want to be here anymore, tried to take my own life. 2 friends intervened. I'll name them: Alex Tabrizi and Sharon Sorrentino, and they played what I would politely call answer phone table tennis with me until they got me away from where I was, which was a dangerous place, and stayed on the phone with me until I was okay. And obviously then there was a lot of follow-up phone calls and things of this nature. And then there was another occasion many moons before this where, you know, I had the blood clot in my brain, and I ended up in a coma for 6 weeks. I was in intensive care for 3 months. I was in an induced coma for a number. It was a long time, because I know I was put in the coma before Christmas, and when I was taken out of the coma, it was towards the end of January. So it was a long time, and had this big abscess in my brain, and I still have the scar on my thumb from when that happened. I don't know if you can see that scar. That all happened at the same time. There you go. Got an even bigger scar than that on my brain. So sometimes I have a bad habit of speaking before I think sometimes. And that was what. Listen, that after that accident, that was way worse than it is now. Than it is now. I had to train myself to kind of have an off button, you know. So my point about talking about this is both of those occasions were times when my life nearly came to an end, and for whatever reason, that did not happen, and I'm still here. And you know, when you look back on your life at the end of all things, Lord of the Rings, you can't take anything with you. You can't take all your possessions with you and stuff like that. The only thing that's really important are the memories that you have. Did you do the best that you could? Did you spend your time with the people that you love? Did you make the most of the time you had while you were here? And I think that's really important, that you make the most of the time. So even if you're going through shit, but you've got a day that's relatively free in front of you, don't ever waste that day. Always try and do something. If you can't do one thing that makes you happy that day, do one thing for someone else. Do one thing for someone else. Help a neighbor fix a fence, or, you know, help an old lady with her shopping down the street. Although these days they'll probably think you're trying to mug you, but you know, just do something. Be proactive. Either be proactive for yourself or be proactive for someone else. I've never met Catherine O'Hara. If my career had reached the heights that I wished it had at the age that I am at now, I definitely would have worked with her, or I would have had the power to command the types of projects where I would have been able to offer her a role. Whether she would have worked with me or not, or whether she would have wished to do so, I think probably would have all come down to the quality of the script. But I would have loved to have worked with her. And yeah, I feel quite gutted that window has now closed. And there's a lot of other actors that are on that list and that I would love to work with. John C. Reilly, you know, another one I'd love to work with. Donald Logue, who was due to be in a film of mine. It didn't happen. Still love to work with Donald Logue. Judi Dench, who I wrote a script for, who I'm good friends with. She knows I wrote her a play and I wrote her a film, both of which she's read, both of which she told me she was very grateful for. But we never got to do those projects, sadly. You know, but you can't live your life with regret. You have to. I have a feeling Catherine O'Hara probably had few regrets. I think she did a lot of the things that she wanted to do. And although power and position and money can make you achieve great things and achieve lofty goals and ambitions, sometimes the greatest impact that you have in your life are by doing small things, small, nice things that impact the people that are in your immediate bubble around you. And sometimes there'll be things that you don't realize that you did that impact them. And I've come to learn that in my life recently, that probably some of the greatest achievements of my life are the ways that I've helped people that I'm not aware of. I mean, I've been made aware of a few of them recently, which is because people have kind of told me when I've been down. They said, "Oh, you know, you remember that time you called me when I was down, and we had that talk, and you gave me a kick up the arse, Lance, and now, you know, I did this and I did that. You know, that's because of you that I did that." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, really? I didn't realize that had such a big effect." So I dare say that Catherine O'Hara probably had a far bigger effect on a lot more people. And yeah, quite right, David. She has a legacy that people can look back on. So if there's a double-barreled message to this stream, apart from talking about Miss O'Hara and her great memory, or Ms. O'Hara. It's really, yeah, just don't waste your time on this planet. Do as much as you can, help as many people as you can, always be kind. Yeah, just don't waste any days. Don't waste any days. It is a sad occasion. Great to see you out in Bray. Yeah, I need to get on that American Civil War game again, don't I? So I can name another unit after you. But yeah, good to see you, Grimdark. How are you? Now I did say I'll do this shout out one more time. If anyone wants to come on the channel now and just have a quick shout out to Catherine, maybe chat to me quickly about a film of hers that you like, or TV show, we can talk about Schitt's Creek for 5 minutes. Let me know now and I'll bring you on. Otherwise I will probably wrap it up fairly shortly. But yeah, oh, that's the moment where they kiss. I remember that in the movie. That's very sweet. They must have been Eugene Levy and Levy, sorry. So I always called him Levy, but it is Levy, isn't it? Eugene Levy and Catherine must have been such good mates. They really must. They must have loved each other. Thank you, Sandy. They must have loved each other. You know, as friends. I don't know. She was married with 2 children, but I don't know who O'Hara was married to. I'll tell you another thing as well. I'm fairly, because I do research people that I want to work with, and I do remember digging through her credits and looking at her career in a bit more detail than we've done today. And I do recall she's done a fair bit of stage work. Yeah, so she's married to Bo Welch, who is an American production designer, art director, film, television director, and occasional actor. So he's done a bit of everything. He's not going to see this video, but certainly listen, Mr. Welch and family, and also, of course, Catherine O'Hara's 2 children. My heart goes out to all of you, and my deepest and sincerest condolences to all of you. So he's done some pretty big movies. He directed a couple of episodes of The Tick. He directed some episodes of A Series of Unfortunate Events, because of course I forgot that was a TV show, as well as a movie. And then he did production design, you know, the art direction, production design, that whole shtick. He did Men in Black 3, he did Thor, he did Men in Black 2, did Wild Wild West, he did Men in Black 1. I'm sensing a Men in Black thing here. He did Wolf, he did Batman Returns, Joe versus the Volcano, Beetlejuice, which I'm guessing is where they met, The Accidental Tourist, Lost Boys, Colour Purple, and he was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Production Design for that. So quite the career, sir. Quite the career. My hat's off to you. Yeah, I mean, The Second City, yeah, which was that Canadian comedy thing. I need to see that. I know there's episodes of that on YouTube. I need to see. She must have done some stuff on stage. I would love to have seen her on stage. She would have been great on stage. To see, you know, in a play. I would love to have seen her in a play. I mean, it was mainly film and TV, but I bet she probably did a bit of stage work here and there. She probably fit in a play. She must have done Broadway at some point. Can't see anything about that, but on her spiel, but she must have done Broadway. All right, no offers to come on. That's okay. I know it's Friday night for most of you, and some people are probably either at work or in cars and things. So I think we're going to wrap it up. So there's going to be There's probably going to be a Chew the Fat on the Two Towers at the minute. It's scheduled for 8 o'clock on Sunday. Now, it may be Sunday, it may be Monday. That depends on kind of how much of a big night I have tomorrow on the rave scene. But we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully we'll keep it the same. Hopefully it'll be Sunday. Then of course on Tuesday, we've got the Nielsen ratings, so we'll be doing that. No worries, Atom. Don't sweat it, mate. So we'll be doing that. We'll be doing a Catherine O'Hara shout out on the Nielsen ratings for sure. In fact, I will probably ask Enzo to do the banner with her face on it, I think, and we'll do a little dedication for her then. We'll get the panel to talk about her a bit. So, yeah. Thank you very much for the support to the channel. If you're new, you recently subscribed, do check out my industry interviews. I've got more of those coming this year. I think they're the most interesting content on the channel, probably the stuff that will be most appealing. Of course, if you're also a creative and you have a project, be that a film, book, play, it's got to be at a stage where it's kind of ready to go. I mean, you know, with the best will in the world, somebody wrote to me and said that they're a couple of chapters into a book that they've written. Well, that's a long way off from you having a completed book for sale on Amazon. So I can't really bring you on just to talk about that book. But if you've got a creative project that's nearing completion that would benefit from some publicity, I'm quite happy to bring you on for a chat. So, you know, you might have a game you're doing on Kickstarter, or you're doing your first comic or something like that. Sort of supporting creative people is what the channel is all about. Interviewing creative people is what the channel is all about. I'm going to be doing an interview with the Ragga twins, who are a well-known act on the jungle drum and bass and rave scene in the UK, and they're London-based, and they've been around for most of my kind of dancing life, so to speak. And that's going to be a very emotional stream because one of them was partially paralysed in an accident not that long ago. I think within the last year. So that's going to be a really interesting stream, but I think they're going to make great guests, and really, really would love to see them on the show. So, all right, that's it. We're going to go. So thanks for keeping me company. Thanks for the people that popped on. Really do appreciate you. We will be heading back on Tuesday at 9 p.m, Sunday 8 p.m, and if the Chew the Fat doesn't happen on Sunday at 8, it will be Monday at the same time. So it'll either be Sunday or Monday. Until then, people, don't forget to keep in touch with the people that you care about. Tell them that you love them, and remember, make the most of the time that you have every day that you're here. Do one thing every day that makes you happy. If you can't manage to do that for yourself, do it for somebody else. Take care. God bless.